Today, I'd like to take you with me to a sunrise, to a mountain, to the highest peak in the United Kingdom, Ben Nevis. Few people have the opportunity, and even fewer the will, to climb through the night just to witness the birth of a new day from the summit. But it's worth it. If you've never been, if you've never had the chance, or if for any reason you cannot, then let me take you there. Come, rise with me above the peaks. Watch how the light changes, how shadows drift across the slopes, how the clouds dance beneath your feet with quiet majesty. And touch something more. This mountain is the beating heart of the world's most resilient nation. It is the only mountain whose heart still pulses with strength, with spirit, with the will to endure, though much has been taken from it. The northern slopes, my destination, are like a canvas of the past. They reveal echoes of history, the trials and triumphs of the Scottish people. Ben Nevis stands not only as a peak to be climbed, but as a story to be felt. The awakening, not just from sleep, but from stillness, from the valley of routine to the summit of wonder. Come with me before the world stirs, before the light breaks. Let the mountain speak. A call to rise. My stay in Fort William began with quiet promise. The weather was beautiful, warm air, a blue sky above our heads, and the mountains visible from the campsite as if drawn by hand. On the first day, we climbed Stob Ban, 999 meters high, a route of over 20 kilometers. It took its toll. So the next day was for rest, a gentle walk, a day of recovery. And after that, another ascent of Ben Nevis. This time, I wanted to photograph the northern slopes of the great mountain. We went to sleep early. Everything was prepared. The alarm was set for 6 a.m. The trailhead lay just beside the campsite. We hoped to avoid the heat of the climb and the crowds that always appear when the weather is kind. We slept. But at 11 p.m., our rather noisy neighbors woke us. Sleep refused to return. I turned from side to side. A gentle reminder about quiet hours did little to help. I lay there, trying to drift off, but it was no use. My thoughts turned to the mountain. What would I do up there? How would I approach the great cliffs? Where would I find the light? And then, like a bolt from the blue, came the thought. Go now, Greg. Climb the mountain at night. It's 1 a.m. 4 hours will be enough. Why not? I thought. At last, there will be silence. Just me and the mountain. Just the two of us. Together. And if I go now, I will reach the summit before sunrise. I will witness the first light breaking over the highlands. I will be there when the sky opens. I will capture it, those golden moments, the hush before the day begins. Photographs, film, a quiet celebration of light. Yes, that was the thought. That was the call. A call to rise. I dressed quickly but silently. A thermos of hot tea, certainly it would be needed. Sandwiches, many sandwiches. I would spend the whole day on the mountain. And water, plenty of it. The forecast promised a scorcher, 26 degrees Celsius. At 1 in the morning, with a quiet farewell from my wife, I set out on my first mountain ascent, not for glory, but for a glimpse of the sunrise. I leave the campsite behind. The street is empty, silent, just the soft sound of my steps heading toward the nearby trailhead. And already, I pass the first pair. They too are walking toward the sunrise. No words are exchanged, just a quiet nod, a shared intention moving through the night. It's curious, so many are still descending from the mountains. Their steps echo the night behind them, but I look upward. Far ahead, tiny lights flicker and move. Headlamps dancing along the ridge belonging to those like me who walk toward the sunrise. I'm surprised by how many there are, silent companions, each on their own path, yet drawn by the same light. According to my modest calculations, they must have entered the trail at least an hour before me. Did they sleep at all? Or were they already awake when the stars were still high, drawn by some quiet urgency to reach the heights before dawn? I walk. The night is beautiful. Thousands of stars blink at me, rewarding my effort with their quiet presence. I hold no resentment toward my neighbors. Instead, I feel gratitude. Because of them, I now walk with others toward the great mountain, and I wonder, what will this sunrise be like? I carry a drone in my backpack, a heavy camera, spare batteries. In my hand, my tripod, all in hope that clouds will gather and I'll capture a beautiful time-lapse. The walk feels amazing, truly fantastic. I don't feel the slightest fatigue. As we sing in a Polish song, my legs carry me on their own. But it's not just the image I seek, it's the soul of the morning. That quiet breath between night and day, when light first touches the peaks and something eternal stirs. I move quickly, steadily, a firm march almost without pause, breath calm, each inhale matching the rhythm of my steps. I watch every footfall. The stone stairs are dry for now, but as I climb higher, they grow damp, wrapped in a thin layer of mist. I feel its chill. At my first stop beside a quiet lock, I change clothes, pull on my rain jacket, take a bite of a Snickers bar, a sip of cold drink, and I'm off again. So far, I've passed around 10 people. Each walks at their own pace, all in silence, as if in quiet concentration. No one wants to slip. We have headlamps, but it's not the same as walking in the light of day. I've reached a considerable height, around 900 meters. Now I stand above the delicate mist. The stars and the moon are crystal clear. What a sight! What a morning! Far to the east, a faint glow of sunrise begins to stir, and on the horizon just above the summit of Ben Nevis, two bright planets shine. I believe they are Venus and perhaps Mars. They appear enormous, and they are close to each other, like silent guardians watching over the dawn. I wasn't prepared for night photography. The air was heavy with moisture, my clothes soaked through, long exposures, impossible. The lens, fogged beyond use, and yet I stood above the mist, the stars, the moon, those two planets. They didn't need a photograph, they needed presence. Despite the moisture, despite the fogged lens and failed focus, I take a few photos. Each exposure lasts around 30 seconds, enough to capture movement, the trails of headlamps, the slow drift of stars. It's not perfect, but it's beautiful. A memory. At least that. No, at most that. I hurry upward, chasing the magic of dawn. Two lights guide me, and one great beam from the moon. My torch slipped from my hand in the darkness. Now I follow the path lit only by the stars. I know it well. We've met 3 times already. I've reached the summit. A few others are here, but I turn aside toward the great edges of this magnificent mountain. Here, I find the perfect spot. I sense that the rising light will soon illuminate the vast cliffs. And I'm not mistaken. It will. But for now, I'm enchanted by the view. Below me, a sea of clouds in inversion. They spill and swirl above the peaks like breath. And Nevis. Today it stands like a great royal head, crowned with dancing clouds. It couldn't be more perfect. It's bitterly cold at the summit. I put on every layer I have. Hot tea warms my hands, and I eat my first sandwich. I try not to chatter my teeth, not easy. The chill is extraordinary. I'm wearing gloves, but the cold finds its way in. Golden thoughts drift through my mind, echoes from the tent before I left. Just hold on until sunrise. And yet, part of me doesn't want it to come, because this moment, this quiet before the light, is magic. It is so quiet, a fullness of peace, untouched. In the distance, a fierce orange glow, what we photographers call the golden hour. Above me, a deep, endless blue. 2 colors, 2 forces. They play together, dance a heavenly waltz, compete for dominance, and yet they harmonize. I stand in awe, like a child before a spectacle of living fire and sky. I forget everything. There is only this. I stand beneath the stars on the highest mountain in the UK. The sky sings to me, its melody woven from millions of stars scattered above my head. I tremble with cold, sheltering my body in the crevice of a rock, clutching a cup of hot tea from my thermos. And I am so deeply happy. I begin to recover. Somehow it feels warmer now. The trembling fades and clarity returns. My first thought, don't miss this, Greg. The light is always changing, always moving. I set up the time-lapse. I want to see the clouds move, to witness their majesty as they drift and dance across the crown of the mountain. I take a few shots with my camera. The view is magnificent, but it's not enough. The camera is limited, too grounded, too bound by the senses. So I lift my drone. I send it soaring above what cannot be grasped by any earthly device. Let it capture what lies at the summit of the unreachable. Let it witness what we can only feel, but never truly see. The sky dances, the light dances. Colors whisper to me their celestial song. What more could I possibly desire? I wouldn't trade this moment for any other. It costs so much, and it gives me even more. 7 drone batteries, like 7 seals of revelation. Each one unlocks a new vision, a new chapter of light and movement. The drone rises, not as a machine, but as a messenger. It sees what we cannot. It hovers above the crown of Ben Nevis, bearing witness to the unfolding majesty of the day. My little DJI Osmo Action records the dance of clouds and the triumph of light over night's darkness. It does so gently, without a sound, without presence. I barely know it's there. Only the red light on the screen tells me that everything is being remembered. So I can rise now, float among the heights, admire and forget everything I left below. I am happy. The sun, illuminating the great mountain, casts a perfect circle of rainbow, radiant, dancing upon the clouds. An unbelievable sight. Am I in heaven? No, not yet. This is only the beginning. A promise, an invitation, a reminder not to miss the chance, to be good, to forgive those who kept me from sleep last night and others. The rainbow is a sign of God's peace, of His presence. So may His peace fill me. May it dwell in my heart, in my spirit, in my mind, and in my plans, in all of my life. And now, let the sacred seals be opened, the holy book of God's creation laid bare. Let these landscapes carry us into the 7th dimension of time and space. And may your heart rejoice, as mine rejoiced when I was lifted into the skies above this wondrous terrain. With every new ascent I discovered more and tasted the infinite. My reflection. Beneath the northern sky, where the wind speaks in broken Gaelic, there once stood a mountain, whole, proud, unyielding. Its ridges bore the weight of ancient songs. Its silence held the prayers of a people unforgotten. They came with fire and decree, with banners not of peace, but of dominion. Roman sandals crushed the heather, English powder shattered the stone. Island Donan, blown into memory, then raised again by hands that remembered what it meant to belong. Glencoe weeps still, not for the snow that fell that night, but for the trust betrayed, for the hearths turned cold by the blade of false hospitality. This mountain, this symbol, was not merely taken. It was sold, silenced, its soul bartered for empire's gold. Yet even in ruin, it whispers. It whispers in the music of heart, in the breath between chords, in the ache of strings that stretch like longing across centuries of silence. Scotland is not broken. She is bruised, yes, but her hills still rise, her locks still mirror the sky, and her people still walk with the memory of freedom etched into their bones. This mountain is alive. Its heart beats with the footsteps of millions. Those who come to breathe freedom, if only for a moment. They come to feel pride, to taste the echoes of what once was, to touch the bleeding heart of this extraordinary peak, the highest in Scotland, the most beloved by her people. Here the past is not forgotten. It lingers in the wind, in the stone, in the silence between each breath. And yet, this is not a place of sorrow alone. It is a place of rising. For the Scottish soul is carved from granite, proud, unyielding, never bowed to invaders, never silenced by conquest. The mountain stands not just as witness, but as promise. A promise that the spirit of Scotland will endure, will resist, will rise again, with dignity, with memory, with hope. The mountain is not merely stone, it is memory carved into silence. Beneath its shattered ridges, a soul breathes, slow, ancient, enduring. It remembers the footsteps of warriors, the songs of shepherds, the prayers whispered into mist by those who had nothing left but hope. Centuries have passed, mighty storms have swept through. Generations have come and gone, yet the mountain, that great mountain, stands unshaken. Even when torn from the earth, even when sold and scattered, the mountain does not forget. Its silence is not emptiness. It is presence, a presence that watches, that mourns, that waits. And when the music rises, when heart begins to sing, the soul of the mountain stirs, not in anger, but in longing. Longing for the day when the land will be whole again, when the people will walk not as subjects, but as sons and daughters of the high places. Like the soul of Scotland itself, this mountain has been stripped, scarred and broken, yet it stands steadfast through every storm, a living witness for the children who will follow. In honor of Scotland, her brave warriors, her fearless sons and daughters, the unyielding souls who walked these lands through every age of trial, to the hardest hearts carved by wind and stone, to the hands that never trembled, to the voices that never bowed, glory to the undefeated, glory to the unbroken. Bleeding Heart. And once again, I find myself high upon the mountain. Once again I walk the path I know so well. I recognize the great boulders, delight in the vast crevices carved into the mountain's body. Its chasms leave a deep impression on me. Once again, I experience something mystical. I touch a space that lifts me beyond the physical realm. This is why I came. This is why I climbed this mountain, the highest, the one of a kind. Here I breathe freedom. Here I meet the spirits of ancient warriors who once fought for liberty. Here I am embraced by the glow of hearth fires burning in Scottish homes. I feel the gentle touch of protective mothers, the firm grip of their husbands' hands. This great mountain, sculpted over millennia by the immense descent of glacial masses, tells me the story of a nation shaped by countless invasions. Its razor-sharp ridges are like scars, wounds left behind by those who tried to conquer a proud people. And now, with sorrow, I descend into the lowlands. I wish I could stay here forever, to always breathe this air of freedom, sacrifice, courage, and defiance. For those who lived and died for independence, freedom was not just a dream. It was breath. It was life. It was their greatest pride. I walk away with tears in my eyes, but not of sorrow, no. These tears are the quiet ache of eternal longing, awaiting for the moment when we shall meet again. Now I carry in my heart the memory of this journey, its joys, its ecstasies lifting me ever higher. This memory has etched itself into me like the sharp edges of the mountain slopes. And that is why it's so hard to leave, so hard.